Okay, folks, it looks like it's the Ak and Eddie show once again. No Barack, but there's so much to talk about. So, Eddie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, Eddie, as I was preparing to talk to you today, I thought about the scrutiny and the microscope that Anthony Joshua has been in since winning Olympic gold in London. As a promoter, not only did you have to suffer a loss, with somebody that's dear to you and that you've promoted, but you have to worry about other fights and other big names like Canelo Triple G. You got to worry about Conor Ben right after that. And I thought about, what about Eddie? How's he doing emotionally?
Yeah, I just finished I think it's 57 minutes with AJ on the phone. And I think the one thing that he has always wanted because of his love for the sport, he's a student of the sport. He loves the history of the sport. And the most important thing for him is to gain respect from the industry. And I really said to him, you really got to stop thinking about what other people think, because it is impossible in life to keep everybody happy. If you enjoy what you do, if you love what you do, the rest will follow. And no one can ever criticize you for living that kind of life. By taking information in that could be negative, and by, it can only do one thing, and that's bring you down or put you in a bad mood. So you need to remove yourself from opinions, because everyone's got an opinion. Some people have an agenda. Some people are bitter because of something that happened in the past to them. Some people don't want to give you the credit, and you won't listen to the 90% positivity. You'll listen to the 10% negativity. And I probably went through this a little bit myself. I said to him, I can see some of this in terms of what I went through, but I'm 1,000th of the size as big as you in terms of that microscope.
Right.
And I was like, I couldn't understand how you can't work an extra hour in the day. You can't have better intentions for the sport. You can't love the sport more. You can't put on really any bigger show. You're doing this all around the world, and yet still you're getting criticism. You're getting hate, you're getting this. And in the end, I kind of said to myself, I'm going to remove myself from that. You can never remove yourself fully from it. But at the end of the day, all it's going to do is make you feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
so I said to him, AJ, you're so smart. You got your own eyes. You got your own mind. Look at what you have done. Go back to that 17 or 18-year-old kid that really didn't have a future. You've changed the sport in this country, maybe even globally. You're a two-time world heavyweight champion, right? You've filled stadiums around the world. You've inspired people.
I mean,
come on, you couldn't have been there at that age thinking you were going to achieve this in your life. So, but you've got to fall in love with the sport. He loves boxing, and I said to him, also remember one thing. You did well on Saturday. I didn't do well. I didn't win. I said, mate, trust me, you box well. Those people that you talk about getting respect from, they're respecting you for the performance.
The right ones.
The people from the industry, the ones that in the past might have said, oh, he's this, he's that. A lot of them are saying, fair play, actually, he boxed well. I said, you didn't stop trying. You got battered in 10, 11, 12. You kept coming forward. You kept trying. People respect that. Yeah. But if you go through life wanting to get people's respect, you're never going to be happy.
Listen.
So, it's going to take him a few weeks. But what happened to him, because we laughed about his actions in the ring, right. And I said, look, that weren't great. Let's be honest. He says, I know, I shouldn't have done it.
But what goes through your head? What? I mean, Eddie Hearn. After the first 6 rounds, I'm here in America saying, we got this. Stay at that pace, right? I had it 3-3 after
I wanted
6.
him to do more in the first 6 rounds. I said that to him on the phone. He needed to still put a dent in. I said his hands were much better position, his feet was better position. He was comfortable in there, which he wasn't comfortable in the first fight.
Exactly.
He put the pressure on 7th, 8th, like particularly 9th, huge round. I said, but what that guy did in the 10th round, Usyk, was unbelievable. It was 10, remarkable. 11, 12. Like, this is a complete genius that goes back to his corner and goes, and by the way, someone that has obviously massive set of cojones as well, and goes, I've just got absolutely battered. I'm going to come out like a train in this round, and I'm going to get on the front foot, and I'm going to throw 200 punches in this round, and I'm going to change the course of this fight.
And he did. And he did. Now, what went through your head, though, as you see AJ walking back to the ring? What are you thinking right there? Because we didn't know what to expect. I assumed he'll come back, hug Usyk, maybe give him his props like he did Andy Ruiz. I didn't expect that. What was going through your head?
Firstly, you talk about listening to people's opinions, and there's so many idiots out there who have got an opinion who go, oh, I can't believe no one went over to him and grabbed the microphone off it. Like, you know, when he's in that mood, that would have been the worst thing. There would have been a riot, right? In the ring. It would have escalated terribly. It's all very well people being smart after the fact, you know, saying this, saying that. The truth is, he reacted badly in the ring. He was frustrated. He's worked 11 months to try and win this fight. He wanted to win more than anything in the world. And he behaved in a way that he knew he shouldn't have. Someone wound him up, he flipped, all this, and it got worse and worse. He left the ring because he knew he had to get out of this situation, right? Yeah. When he walked halfway down, when people said no one should have, they shouldn't have got him back in the ring, he made that decision. You know why he made that decision? Because he was embarrassed. Yeah. He got there and he thought, I've got a responsibility to try and be sportsmanlike, right? So I'm gonna have to turn around here and go back in this ring. Right. He went back in the ring, he asked for the mic, he got the mic. At that stage, mate, and I said to him on the phone, you dig your own grave. You die by the sword. Once you start with that mic, and listen, no one knew he was gonna go on as long as he did, right. But you can't then go up to him, grab the mic. I mean, this got like, it would have been a million times worse. Yeah. Let him say his piece. Yeah.
No, I agree with you totally.
At the end of the day, I mean, what he said, look, it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't disrespectful. It was
We've seen worse.
Fuddled and muddled, but you're dealing, he's a very emotional guy. What he was trying to do was give Usyk the respect before he left the ring. Yeah. But,
his emotions got the best of him, but he was gracious enough to the very next day on Instagram make a statement and make it clear that he was aware that what he did wasn't right. He wants to be better moving forward. I mean, there's a lot to say about that.
This is also the same guy people don't realize. Before this even happened, he went over to the ring with a referee. He held Usyk's hand up. He held up the Ukrainian flag behind Oleksandr Usyk. Right. He actually went on his knees after the fight and bowed down to the performance of Oleksandr Usyk.
I saw all of this.
But it was a kid that was extremely devastated to lose.
I thought you brought up a great point in learning that you're not able to please everybody. Look, honestly, this morning, even yesterday morning at the coffee shop, there was a person complaining about the guy that cleans up the park. The guy, he left an extra bag of chips by the garbage can. He's supposed to clean it. That guy can't even keep everybody happy. He's cleaning the park for the neighborhood. So a guy of the size of Anthony Joshua in terms of being on a microscope, how is he going to please everybody? So once he conquers that and knows that the guys around him, Freddie, Benga, KD, those guys believe in him and they're there, you yourself, then I think he'll be better off. That fight made me want to see AJ back in the ring 100%, because of the way he performed. I thought conditioning had a lot to do with it, meaning if he could sustain what he did in the ninth for 10, 11, 12, it's a different fight. But nevertheless, that's spilled milk. I want to talk about your opinion on Usyk and Fury. Obviously, Fury put out a video saying that he's coming back. We don't know what to believe when it comes to Tyson Fury, but it seems that that's the direction that we're headed. As big as Fury is, can Usyk beat him with that level of skill?
It's actually not a very good fight to watch, but it's an intriguing fight to watch. Do you know what I mean? Because I think they're going to negate each other a lot with movement and just, Tyson Fury doesn't want to fight Oleksandr Usyk, but he may have to because the money might be so big.
Right.
You know, and actually, funnily enough, that's one thing that AJ just said to me on the phone was, I was so gutted because I wanted that Fury fight. He wanted to give the public that fight. And I said, you'll probably still have that fight, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised, but don't worry about that for now. But yeah, so I don't think Fury's going to be chomping at the bit to fight Usyk. I think he could beat him, but I would favour Oleksandr Usyk in that fight just because, I don't know, I just think he's so good. Like, Fury's good as well, but Usyk's just, they're both very, very intelligent boxers.
I think it's a very tough fight for Usyk because of the size. But you're right, it's a pick'em fight in my opinion. You talk about the big money that's potentially there for Fury. I think that oftentimes people say that AJ is in it for the big dollars, and in actuality, I would say the complete opposite. The guy has everything he needs, right? He doesn't need money. So
he doesn't spend money. We had this same conversation. He said to me, people think I'm in it for the money. He went, I don't, like, with all due respect, like, he don't spend any money.
I've been around him. And we talked to him, and I said, when's the last time you actually took money out to buy something? You know, you wear Hugo Boss, Under Armour, you drive Range Rovers. You don't have to spend any money. So I would think he's in it more for the passion and legacy.
He loves the sport.
Right.
He loves the sport.
Exactly. Now, moving on, Bivol and Zerto agree on a fight. Obviously, you've been working on that deal. That's in the Middle East. It's starting to worry people here in America. Hey, are these people, because of the amount of money they have, are they going to take over the sport and all the big fights? Are they going to be in the Middle East and not in Vegas or New York anymore? Is that where we're headed, Eddie?
No, the answer is they're going to be everywhere. You know, and part of our global plan is to continue that expansion in territories that are going to be very important for the continued development of the sport. Another problem, is the amount of money that fighters want. You know, so, and that can only be achieved by certain site deals. I mean, look, we looked at making Bivol against Buatsi. We couldn't get that deal done, and the WBA ordered the mandatory with Ramirez. This is a great fight. Absolutely. Like, you know, as well as Bivol did against Canelo Alvarez, this is a different type of challenge. This is a big, I know he moved from super middle, but this is still a big light heavyweight in Ramirez. He's a guy that he's looking to become a star with a breakout victory. And it's a really, really good fight. For Bivol, kind of like everything's on the line, because if he wins, he'll go into the Canelo Alvarez #2 fight, you know, which he wants, and obviously Canelo wants as well, subject to beating Triple G. Right. So it's a really big fight for the division, and a fantastic fight for DAZN as well.
And it's you get a chance to work with your favorite promoter, Oscar De La Hoya.
Exactly.
So that's always great.
Can't believe we got the deal done.
Another fight I want to talk about is the potential fight that everybody's talking about when it comes to AJ and Deontay Wilder. We know Wilder has Helenius coming up. We know the history. I don't know if that fight is possible. I will tell you from getting feedback from the fight fans that people still want to see that fight. It's still a humongous fight. Is that on AJ's radar?
Honestly, I think that it may be the biggest fight in the division still. I mean, look, Fury Usyk is a huge fight, obviously, but like in terms of excitement, AJ Wilder is right up there. As is AJ against Dillian Whyte. I mean, the next step for AJ, in my opinion, will be to box in December or January or whenever that's going to be, and to come back with a top 15 guy and put in a dominating performance. You know, get back on the winning saddle and then move with activity. I want him to have 4 fights between now and the end of 2023. So I see the Dillian Whyte fight as a must-make fight for Anthony Joshua, for the British public. I see Deontay Wilder as a must-make fight. And I also see him fighting Tyson Fury, because it's still like, it's just a monumental fight for British fight fans. But we'll see, you know, how that plays out. But, you know, I think the only problem is with Deontay Wilder, you know, I had an offer for Deontay Wilder recently, talk about the Middle East.
Recently.
So much, like, and I just reached out to his team and said, look, you know, I have something we should really discuss, because this is a huge offer. And I've never even heard back. You know, and it baffles me, like, I don't even know if he was told about that email.
Wow. You know? So this was a potential fight with him and AJ in the Middle East?
No, as it was just a potential fight with, you know,
somebody else.
Could be
Can
Dillian
you
White.
name that person?
Yeah, Dillian White.
Dillian White.
That's the fight we want to make for early 2023. But listen, maybe Deontay Wilder just doesn't want to deal with us, and that's fine. But as long as he's aware of what he's turning down, then I respect that.
Right, but if he's not even getting the offer, it just stinks for the
we don't know. But the reality is the money there to fight Dillian White, the money there to fight AJ, they're the two biggest fights for him in the sport. So hopefully we can open those discussions and those. Listen, he may lose to Helenius. I mean, Helenius is not bad. Like I know Chisora beat him really, Dillian White beat him, but he's on a decent run. Right. Wilder, we don't know how his confidence has been affected. Right. And let's see, it's a good fight.
All right, lastly, before we get out here, obviously Triple G Canelo's 3 weeks away. Big fight. We'll all be in Vegas for this one. I'm not sure if you've spoken to Canelo about the Bivol. We know he wants Bivol next. Bivol is about to fight Zurdo Ramirez. We knew we couldn't wait for Canelo. Does he feel any way about that? Is he worried that maybe Bivol loses the straps?
Yeah, I think he'd be gutted if Bivol lost, because it's not even about the belts. It's just he wants to avenge that defeat. So I guess he will want to. But honestly, he's focused on Triple G. Yeah. This fight week is going to be electric because these guys cannot stand each other. Right. And I've never seen Canelo Alvarez train with this kind of intensity before, to make a statement after his defeat, but also to end the career of Gennady Golovkin on September 17th. That's his own words. The only thing he's interested in is knocking this guy out and finishing his career. And, at the press conferences, I was trying to get this back and forward going between them, and Gennady wouldn't say anything. And then you read what he says in an interview, you're like, wow, why didn't you say that at the presser? So I want to make sure that at the presser on fight week, everyone says their piece.
No, I'm hoping. I'm going to try my best to get more out of Eddie, out of Triple G that fight week. Listen, Eddie, it's always a pleasure, man. If I don't talk to you next week, I'll see you in Vegas.
Cheers, guys.